Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, good day, good morning, good afternoon to everyone who is here. Welcome to a very special monthly edition of the network's shows where we, the hosts, gather around and we're going to entertain you. We're going to talk a little bit more about this thing that we're doing and have been doing for the past month. And we're also going to dive into some nice topics. And without any further ado, I want to welcome everyone who is connected to this amazing network. First of all, I would like to say to the newest member, hello. To the 40K Empress, hello, man, your hair is on fire. I also want to say hello to the other amazing host, Noise Pollution, hello. And it's good to be back on the panel with you again, by the way. I missed that in the past few weeks. Next, we have one of the two cartoons today that we are going to be having. And this is Dash Attack. Hello, with a new and improved avatar.
Yes, very much improved.
Your head was a little bit smaller.
Yeah. I got kind of ripped off, so I had to, get a better with these like similar design. And I honestly, I've a lot of people say like it's like they like the new results.
It is a much more anatomically correct result, which is good. But before we continue, I want to also welcome a very dignified gentleman, one who had gathered us all, and one who is working very hard for this network, tirelessly, sleeplessly, as we were informed. Welcome, dignified cartoon gentleman, or Digny. Hello, welcome.
I'm not a. I'm not a. I'm not an. I can't even speak. I'm not a network host. I just help set it all up. It's great to be here, everyone. I've been up since 2:00 in the morning. It is getting quite late in Israel. I haven't been able to sleep because of all the missiles, but I appreciate everyone for being here. I appreciate Helzo for hosting today's show. I appreciate all the network hosts being here. We're hosting it on Helzo on Helzo's show because of all the network shows. His is the biggest, so it's more likely to get the most audience. Although, and we're going to get into this when we go into the network review for September and early October, the most successful network show so far was the pilot of The Lovely Ladies. So that may be changing as well. It's great to see Dash here. Fantastic guest. He's not really a good host, but he's a fantastic guest for a panel show. And it's great to see Noise Pollution, who is a living contradiction because he barely speaks.
Oh, when I start making noise, people don't like it. So there you go.
All right then.
Lovely. You're just lovely, guys. We can continue.
What we're going to do, right? And if you guys want to be on this monthly show, you got to contact me and you got to set up a network show, okay? If we could infiltrate Cancel This Podcast, then this would be the perfect panel show. We'd have two great guys, a Mexican, a lovely woman, and a liberal, gender fluid moderate. And it's perfect. It's perfect.
Diversity for the win.
Yes, we are very diverse here.
Diversity is our strength.
Yes. And it's the best kind of diversity, too, because it's the kind of diversity that doesn't actually require minorities. So, muzzle tov to that. Let's catch up with the chat. Let's start off with Yasto, because Yasto is a great guy. I'll bring up the comments if you don't mind.
Go for it.
It's great to see Yasto. It's great to see Jose of Cancel This Podcast. He's one half of Cancel This Podcast. The other half is a rabid alcoholic called Alky John. We've never been able to reach out to him and get in contact with him because of his rabid alcoholism. Who else is here? Helzo's here, of course. I have to say Helzo's here because sometimes he isn't here on his own show. Because he might be ill.
That was one time.
Ah,
Hey,
Roadkill.
well,
Roadkill, how's it going, man?
yeah, it's good to see
Back,
Roadkill.
old man.
Shout out to you and your wonderful family. It's great to see Clinton. We appreciate you, Clinton Ian Van Tonder, or CIVT. Civ T, that's what we'll call you, Civ T. It's great to see a man of culture who is indeed a man of culture, but whose profile picture is of a woman, so you might be trans. Who
No,
else
no,
is
he's
here?
not.
Who else is here? Speaking of trans, Dash Attack is here. We appreciate you, my good man. You know, folks, Dash had some back problems, so I had to put him on a super straight diet, and it fixed his back real good because it was broke originally. You know, a broke back, but now it's fixed, which is good. We appreciate Dash for being here. In fact, we appreciate noise pollution for being here too, despite the fact that he hasn't said anything. Yeah, I think we caught up with everyone
Well,
in the chat. We appreciate you all.
I will say that on my stream, I bring in people just maybe a little more carefree than I should, and I brought Lilith into the world of streaming, and she's been on a few other things, and so I brought in a curse. Then I had to bring in roadkill because I had to bring the balance. I had to bring a blessing because I brought a curse.
Oh yeah, and I wanted this to be a monthly get together, folks, because you're all seeing different pieces of the network coagulate together. You've got Noises System Crash, which is where we host the developmental creators, the green creators, the inexperienced creators, as well as crazy motherfuckers who want to pop in every now and again. Dash's show is for the cartoons, for the VTubers, and for people who think they live in a weird LSD dimension. Whereas the two network hosts to the left and right of me are where we bring on the actual professionals. So that's where you see the difference in that sense, right? So we test new blood with Noise, we test cartoons with Dash, and we actually bring on more experienced creators with Hellzo's and the Empress's shows. And what's my role? My role is to make sure everything works and the hosts don't try to kill each other. That's my role. Okay.
Noble.
Yep.
We won't be a faction that will tear each other to pieces because we disagree. Okay, we're not
the
that.
dignity that connects us.
Exactly. And I put a lot of time and effort bringing people together who I believe are natural fits. And as you can all see, we're all straight, we're all white, we're all experienced content creators, and I am very glad that this is going to happen on a monthly basis. So what we're going to do, since we caught up with the chat, we're going to, for this introduction, we're going to catch up with the panel, but everyone's going to introduce themselves, tell you who they are, what they do, what show they run, and why they do what they do. And we're going to start off with Hellzo, the bearded Balkan blabbermouth.
Hello, thank you very much. For those of you who don't know, my name is Helzo, also disgusting, and I am indeed a bearded Balkan blabbermouth. Have been on YouTube on and off for the last 10 years, and I am back for now 14 months straight without any stop. I'm also the host of Discussing Stanchion Kings every Monday at 8 p.m. UK time, and also I have my own channel that is kind of growing quite well in the last week. I also stream games and talk about the gaming news in particular. Sometimes I diverge into some other cultural stuff, but honestly, I just tell it how it is, tell my piece, and hopefully people listen, agree, disagree, insult me on YouTube and on X, and try to call me a broke-ass middle-aged man, to which I say, yeah, okay, thank you very much for the clarification. And pretty much that is it. I'm very happy to be here, very happy to be part of the network, and very happy to be hosting the show with all of you. wonderful creators, and our wonderful dignified cartoon gentlemen. Thank you very much. And also thank you to the chat for being here. I see a lot of people, I see a lot of activity, and it's amazing. That's pretty much what keeps someone engaged a lot with the stream and gives them the strength. Because let me tell you, today, this is my third stream for today. I woke up on 3 hours of sleep, but my stream got raided twice, one by the 40k Empress and one by Smash JT. And I say, when that chat lit up, I lit up. When you see people discussing things, when you see people being on your chat, that's amazing, and that's why I want to thank the chat again. So that's me.
And this is the great thing about the network hosts introducing themselves, what they do, what shows they run, and why they do what they do, is that you guys and gals watching, whether it's live or on replay, can see the different styles of each of the hosts and see what they have to offer. Now, as for me, I'm the dignified cartoon gentleman. I am a recent creator in this space. My mentor, who I can't name on this platform for legal reasons, taught me everything I know about content creation and live streaming, and essentially passed on his legacy to me, which I then passed to all these great people. Because no other creator in this space has ever transferred their legacy to other people, because every time a creator and a community has tried to do that, that community will tear each other to pieces to get the biggest slice of the pie, because most people in this space are fucking monsters, for lack of a better term. But we appreciate everyone who is part of this. We are always welcoming new members, and hopefully we can fill our diversity quota pretty soon, okay? Now for a word from our sponsor, Black Lives Matter. With Black Lives Matter, you can support the Black community and nothing bad will happen. So go and check them out, okay? Now on to the most professional network show, which is the most recent one. We had a fantastic pilot episode last Thursday. Oh, I'll make a promise right here, right now, folks. Throughout this show, I will not change the sound of my voice, okay? I'll just speak exactly like this, okay? So, Empress, tell folks who you are, what you do, what show you started, and why you do what you do.
Okay, so hi guys, I'm the 40k Empress. I've been on YouTube for, well, since school, but most seriously, like 13 years back. So I have been doing a lot of movie reviews at the beginning. Then I renamed my channel to the 40k Empress when I discovered 40k around 6 years ago by this point. I had to pivot one of my channels to a gaming channel like 4 months ago, and it has been running very well. If you want to see anything that has to do with gaming, you go there. If you want to see anything that has to do with the 40k universe, you go here to my main channel. And most recently, I restarted one of my oldest channels for gaming and basically flipped it to be for superheroes, and I do that with my friend Logan, and we're going to discuss a lot of things that has to do with superheroes, but also what's happening in today's worlds. Most recently, for example, with James Gunn's propaganda, with Peacemaker, Superman, whatever, everything that has to do with modern wokeness and stupidity pushed down, in our throats. It's great. So all the 3 channels basically encompasses what I want to do. And on the side of that, I do a lot of educational content, fitness, health, nutrition, and sexual education. Also relationship advice, basically life coaching at OnlyFans with absolutely no explicit content, just very censored normal content there. Like basically probably 1% of everybody that ever created something on OnlyFans. Mine is the only one that's censored and perfectly normal. So yeah, that is it, guys. Really.
Good. Very good. And what we're going to do after we, do these little intros is that I will share my screen and show you all how these creators started, because I think creator origins are very important. You will see Helzo as a child. You will see that the 40k Empress has not aged. You can see that Dash Attack is currently on steroids. And I don't really know what Noise was like at the beginning of his creator journey, so that'll be a wild card. If you want to look at my creator journey, just go back a month. But Dash, I highly recommend the Empress's content, especially her OnlyFans content, because I think that'll do you a world of good. So why don't you show off yourself, Dash? Tell the folks who you are, what you do, what show you took over, and why you do what you do.
All right, I'm Dash Attack. I'm a independent male VTuber who mostly focuses on gaming news, like drama. You know, did some show reviews early on, pivoted to like mostly focus on games. And you know, I play and stream games regularly, a lot of RPGs, a lot of horror games. You know, just I just love gaming in general, but my favorite genres are like horror games and strategy RPGs, turn-based.
Now, I know I hinted at this, but Dash didn't get the hint. Take your clothes off and show yourself off.
All
There
right,
you
if
go.
you say so.
See, look, folks,
And,
Dash. Well,
Cool,
Dash
cool.
invested a lot in this setup, folks, and I think it's only fitting that he shows off the technical achievements that he's
Okay.
achieved. As I
Dragon
can
Ball
see,
Dash.
noise pollution is extremely uncomfortable.
Oh man. Oh, come on, Noise. Come on. You know you like what you see.
You
This
gotta
is
make
Dragon
the neck
Ball
a bit
Dash.
thicker. That's gonna be great.
Ah. Hey,
That
he's
escalated
obviously
quickly.
pretty bothered. I'll put the tank top back on.
I'll tell you this, folks. If I was
Can't do it.
setting up Dash's rig for a laugh, we'd have the semi-nude setup, the vest setup, the gown setup, and then we'd have the burqa setup, where he's just all you can see is his eyes, and everything else is like red or something.
Define eyes, because he has with this build. he has
Well,
two
they're
pair.
like cat slits. They're like cat slit eyes.
But I, for one, am very glad that Dash is part of this network. You know, I tease him all the time for obvious reasons because he's different and difference is wrong. But I will also point out that he represents a fantastic opportunity to interact and collaborate with someone who we wouldn't usually collaborate with. And I'm very grateful for him taking the reins of the Old White Road, despite the fact that the title of the show does not fit him at all.
I'm
I-
super white though. I am super white. I'm just not old.
Well, not yet, you're not. But we appreciate you for being here. And, you know, it's the underrated show of the network. But that's what happens when you bring
Well, it's
cartoons
underrated
on.
because you keep underselling it.
Yes, I know. Every network needs a niche, Dash. Everyone, okay? Noise's show is the crazy show where anything can happen. Yours is the niche show. The Empress's show is for the true professionals, and Helzo's show is for the up and comers. Everyone has their specialty within the existing framework. So,
All right,
yeah.
you're the architect. I mean, you're the one who brought us all together and made
Yep.
this network possible. So, like, you know,
Yep.
we'll follow your example.
Mhm.
To form Voltron. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Well, it's better to have 4 shows on 4 channels than 4 shows on 1 channel. My mentor told me that versatility is very important in doing what we do. And now, last but by no means least, Noise Pollution, who hosts our Crazy Wednesday show, full of insane people who are drunk out of their minds, and yet somehow it's successful. So, Noise, why don't you tell us who you are, what you do, what show you took over, and why you do what you do?
Well, yeah, there's a system crash, and there's only one drunk person, but by that point in the day, they're not quite drunk yet. No, my show is most of them are not inexperienced. Just my shows typically are more natural, a bit more of a wild card. We're less scripted, and Digny doesn't give us the big name guests because he's afraid of what they might be exposed to. So he lines up the others first and be like, well, that one's free. So I mean, as far as what we cover, it's when I make a plan, the plan falls apart every time. So it's generally we speak life experiences, we pick topics and go on for hours about it. We have a lot of laughs and sometimes we have some bickering, but it's okay because it's free flowing and natural.
And that's the key element that System Crash provides, is that the regulars are very down to earth and they're very green. So they're the closest entry point for everyday people, even if one of them is a drunk Austrian who got chemoed to the point where she speaks like Arnold Schwarz. I can't say the rest of his name. So there you go. So what we're gonna, yes, Schwarz. Yeah, I'm not gonna say it, but folks, to give people some more context, right? You should really check out all creators within the network, especially their first videos. Okay.
Oh my God.
Especially their early content.
Wait.
Okay.
Pause. Let me first do the green. Because speaking of green, we have a green in chat. And then
good,
we get
honey.
to the madness. Yes.
Thank you to Furious Dan, who was given the opportunity to have a network show, but said no, saying, hey, Digny, very soon you will have a retard on the network. The panel is being built and I'm coming in with a bang. Well, maybe you should collaborate with Dash Attack when you're making a statement like that.
Hey, Dan, if you ever want to come on Old White Road, as a guest or even as a regular panelist, you're more than welcome.
Because we're always looking to add, and I'm sure Furious Dan, my goodness, imagine a panel of Furious Dan. Imagine regulars recommended by Furious Dan. We should call it Furious Dan's Lunatic Asylum Showcase.
Quite a catchy name, by the way.
All right. Well, thank you for your. It is. It's a lot more catchy than Creative Freedom Revolution. I'll tell you that. But just to show people again, this was Helzo's channel when it first started off. This was over 10 years ago. He hasn't really aged a lot in that time, folks. But for some reason, he wasn't wearing his glasses for most of it.
Yeah, I was trying not to still because I was 10 years ago. I was 25 back then, and I was trying not to wear glasses. And I actually managed to sit in front of a PC for more than 5 minutes before my eyes go out. And oh man, this is in the old apartment. This is whoa. I had forgotten those, by the way. And by the way, if I shave, I'll probably look like a chubbier version of that. Because back then that's me. I don't know what is in pounds. This is me 75 kilograms of weight.
Yeah, I see you got the Dan Vasc look in some of these pictures.
Yeah, I've been told that, by the way. I have been told that.
Now, folks, you're going to be very afraid now because I'm going to bring up the creator origins, for lack of a better term, of the 40K Empress, and you're going to think, is this lady a vampire? Yes, because
I can confirm,
unlike
she is.
Helzo, who looks a bit different, the 40K Empress barely looks any different. Okay, and I didn't tell any of these guys we were going to do this. I was just going to be like, introduce yourselves. Tell you what you tell us what you are good at doing. I didn't tell them about this because they might not have shown up. But here it is, folks. It's the main channel for the 40K Empress because
Oh my gosh.
because her secondary channel is a more recent entity. So let me just share my screen real
I'm
quick.
going to hide in a pillow.
Oh,
To the
no,
pillow.
it's perfectly fine. You are by far, Empress, you have aged the best of everyone on this network. And you haven't taken steroids like Dash.
No,
All right.
no. Oh, if I have, I
Alright.
would have aged a lot. So
So
Thank
this
God I
is the earliest content, and as you can see, folks, 5 years, barely any difference. Barely any
Yeah.
difference. What's your secret?
training and fasting, literally.
I was going to
Fasting,
say
not
that
eating.
that the Countess Bathory is actually a legend made from you.
What bakery?
Countess
Oh,
Bathory.
I put popular instead of oldest, so we're just gonna go into oldest. There we go.
Well,
There-
I
there
would
we go.
argue that
This is
you
kid
know,
me. No, no, no.
from my perspective, I can't say who's aged the best because I'm closer to 50 than the rest of you are very much younger than me. So I can't really say till I see how all of you look at 50.
Well, I'll tell you
Oh.
this, folks, right here, right
That's
now.
fair.
12 years, barely any difference. Barely.
Well,
So-
I
so
was very
That's
young.
because we're
very
from
young then.
Bulgaria, by the way.
Mhm. Not eating all that American food.
Really
So
jokes. Yeah.
there you go. Now it's Dash's turn, ladies and gentlemen. Dash, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's see. I want to look at my past, my older videos. See if yeah. So I started out mostly like way back.
Just to let everyone know. Don't worry. See, this is what Dash does. He just takes moments of silence while he speaks.
Yeah, so
Very
like
weird.
early stuff before my channel had a brand, some school animations, YouTube poops.
Who's that?
That's the dog. That's Annie.
Sweet little puppy.
Yeah, she's
This
old
one's
now. She's
Oh,
really old
okay,
now.
so-
Yeah, like so she's like oh man, like she's an old lady now.
Oh my God. Poor puppy.
Still
So
alive,
YouTube-
though. That's good.
Was that
Yeah, so-
Agent Smith as Naruto?
Yes. Let's see. The context for that one. Why some anti-woke creators give into anime and manga? It was mostly just like me reacting to why Ethan and Nerdrotic don't talk about anime.
Yeah.
Well, thinking about it now in 2025, would you want Ethan Van Sciver in anime?
No. That's obviously things have changed. But yeah,
Oh,
there's
my.
me reviewing the Halo show. There's me debuting my first model.
Oh, look at sweet Dash before
Yeah.
he developed a steroid addiction.
Oh.
Noise, what do
oh.
you make of that profile pic? Well, of that VTuber, huh?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it like screams, what is it, Gen Z and the woke side of things. Honestly, I mean, I believe
He's
that's
based
what
off
most
my
people
Final
take to be on
Fantasy
it.
14 character in game. He's based off my 14 character.
Oh, but the vibes it puts out there is what most people's takeaway will be.
Yeah, like the blue hair, but blue hair is also an anime thing.
It's always so nice to see how people start out, and we appreciate that. And I think Dash's first VTuber sequence is cute. I think it's very cute. Alrighty.
Yeah, humble beginnings indeed.
Now we move on to noise pollution, and I haven't checked this beforehand, so for all I know, there could be groupie sessions as YouTube videos for noise pollutions. You have to noise pollution. You can't just type noise pollution and his channel comes up, unlike with everyone else here.
Yeah.
All right then.
Oh, I've been censored since day one. I don't mean like adult content. I mean like shadow banned, if you will.
Mhm.
I mean, I've tried with your ad, by the way, and it would still not put you up as the first
Damn.
result.
Damn.
Yeah,
That
I've
happened
heard
today,
that.
by the way. That happened today when I was doing the captions and the I was like, what the hell? And I always have
Yeah.
to go to your
YouTube
X
has always
and
hit
to-
me.
which is weird because I don't know, like, yeah, it's deliberate
Ooh,
is.
so you started out like pretty recently.
Oh, yes. Yes. Noise had a fantastic start to his creator journey, but like all talented creators in our space, if you grow too quickly, YouTube will nail you. And if you are too dangerous to their ecosystem, they will blow you up. Wink, wink. But yeah, it's this is an example of Noise's video making. I don't really showcase shorts, folks, because I regard shorts as being poison. But that's my own unique perspective. Oh, who's
Ew,
this?
what the?
Who's this? I've never seen this face before. Who's this? I couldn't possibly know. Oh my! But yeah, very interesting. Very interesting. But it's always good to get a taste of what creators have started off with. And, you know, since we're sharing everyone's creator origins, we might as well check out my own. And we can go back a month. In fact, if you at me on YouTube, you're recommended this show. So that's good. That's perfectly. In fact, when you at me on YouTube, you're recommended all the network shows. Literally, all of them. So that's good. That's fantastic. So it's at Dignified Cartoon Gentleman. No, we don't want to play that clip. Although it is funny, we do not want to play it. Alrighty then, folks. It's always nice to really get things off to a good start and introduce everyone and what they do. And you know what inspired this banner, folks? What inspired it was John De La Rose.
Oh
In public,
boy.
Oh boy!
Of all people.
In public, he's a sheep. In private, he's a wolf.
That's smart.
There
Deep.
you go.
I agree.
So, yeah, you want to look at my oldest content, folks? My first video ever, stupidly, was the second episode of Why Things Go Wrong because I didn't upload it properly. I uploaded the wrong video first. So the first video I ever made was the second video I ever released. And, you know, I tried making videos, but they took too long to make. So I started out a network with the help of my mentor. And the rest is history. And one thing you'll notice, folks, is all of Helzo's shows have a blue background. All of Noise's shows have a black background. And all of Dash's shows have a white background. And if we scroll up to the latest, the 40K Empress's backgrounds are yellow.
Yeah,
So-
that's so cool. I love it. Gold. I would call
that's-
it gold.
And that's how we distinguish. And if you want to look at it from a technical standpoint, generally speaking, the shows that are most successful so far are Helzo's on average, and the shows that are not shows, videos from shows that are most successful on average are from Helzo's channel, and the videos from shows that are least successful on average is Dash's show.
I'm
We haven't
always
had
getting
enough.
it.
I know. It's a shame. We haven't had enough material from the 40K Empress to make an assessment yet. But I will say right here, right now, that we're off to a fantastic start, and I think things can only get better from here. And we've had another donation, so you might
We
want to
have
bring that
an amazing
up.
one by
Helzo.
Brother Roadkill.
Thank you to Roadkill. You see, folks like Roadkill and Furious Dan, folks, just to let you all know, they're what we call bribers, which means they get onto shows by paying to be on the show. So if you want to be on the show with no real record of being a content creator, just give us money.
Well, to be
I'm not
fair, I
afraid
let
to
them
say
own
it.
my show before they ever gave me any money, unless I'm mistaken.
Well, we all learn things in the network, Noise, and you just learned something. So thank you to Roadkill for a nearly $10 donation, in which you say, donation for Brother Roger's boat. I promised earlier not to use a different voice because when I use different voices, people get offended. And we are a welcoming place in the network. See how welcoming this panel is? We have a woman, we have a bisexual, we have foreigners on this show. And hopefully, as time goes on, we will have blacks, full gays, and Jews on this show, too.
We'll
Hopefully.
be like UK, you know.
Oh man, we'll be one big happy like diversity. Justin Trudeau.
We'll be Keir
smorgasbord.
Starmer's
But what?
fantasy
No,
land.
no Muslims.
No, I don't want the channel to blow up. But in all seriousness, ladies and gentlemen, just to
There was
just
already
make
one
things-
explosive show that was not on.
just to make one thing absolutely clear, a few days ago, a content creator called what was the name of this creator? A trans conservative waifu subscribed to me a few days ago, and I thought, who the hell is this
Excuse me?
individual? Yes,
Excuse me,
nearly-
Can
has
you run
nearly-
that by me again?
Well, I'm gonna have to double check, folks, but I was certainly shocked when I saw it. But I thought to myself, does this person have an ex so my mentor can reach out and have it on Dash Attack show?
Oh, okay. Well, I guess that would be the show to be. All right.
Yes. Yeah.
That'll be a transformative show.
It really is.
Maybe we
Everyone's
could talk
turning.
about Transformers or something, like why they didn't make Transformers 1, 2. Maybe we'll
I
have
got to double check, folks, because we try our best to be as open, honest, and transparent as possible. Yes, the name of this creator, it is confirmed, is the trans conservative waifu who subscribed to the Dignified Cartoon Gentleman on the 29th of September of 2025, who has 1,980 subscribers and is definitely not mentally ill. So there you go. In fact, here's time for a bit of promotion, folks, because we always like promoting people in the network, especially the unique people. Here it is.
honestly,
I
now
use
that
that-
you mentioned,
There
I
we
think
go.
this person also subs to me. I'm not sure. I think I remember seeing this person in my subscriber list.
Well, it's great to see that you attract this sort of person, Dash. I
Oh,
wonder why.
Oh boy.
Or maybe it's Lilith's alt account. I don't know. I really don't. But
Okay,
it's always great to meet new people, and it's always great to learn new things. So on that note, folks, what we're gonna do, since that's a nice segue for today's second topic. Today's second topic is essentially a monthly review, and that monthly review is for September and the first week of October, because the Empress debuted her first show in October. So we have to factor that into consideration. I'll write that down for a solid 38 minutes and 40 seconds. Although turning a 38-minute section into a video is going to be very difficult. The network's monthly review, a successful start in September of 2025. Now, in that time, folks, Helzo, Dash, and Noise have had 5 successful shows, and the Empress has had 1 successful show. And I wanted to get the panel's perspective on how they thought their early shows have done. Of course, the Empress's perspective is going to be a lot more condensed because it was only 1 show. We're going to start off with Helzo. What do you make of the first 5 weeks you've been part of the network?
So the thing is that the first show that we started was me being nervous as shit. I've never have never done a panel show before. Never. I've barely have had streams anytime that I have had guests. I think one of them was actually with the 40K Empress like some 6-7 years ago when I was doing my old stuff. And it was a very new experience for me. But I think that by the third show, I got the hang of it. There were a couple of times that I was not feeling good because almost all of the shows, corresponded with stuff that has been happening with one of my cats, and I like throughout the month of September, like end of October to at least the end of September, I have had a consistent pattern of 3 hours of sleep at most.
Oh, damn.
And yeah, I genuinely don't remember a lot of those dreams. If I have to be honest, I have to go recheck what I have said. And of course, the last stream that we had with the show before, I couldn't attend because I was
There we go.
not there. I was just very
Yeah, you were
ill.
a bit ill.
Yeah, and
Oh,
the I'm happy that I have undertook this endeavor. I think that the network as a whole is a amazing idea. It is an amazing idea to have. It is an amazing thing that can be developed further and further, and it has, in my opinion, started amazingly. So from here on out, we can only be even more awesome. I've also watched at least most of the other show panels, and I was on the 40K Empress's premiere show. I can tell you that every show is different. That's the best thing, in my opinion. Every show is unique, different, and brings a whole different energy to it. So when we're talking about the network, it's not just a network of streamers that are going to be the same, that are going to do the same thing over and over. We have our own unique views. We have our own unique people that we have on the show, special guests, regulars and stuff like that, and it's a different vibe. So it does really feel like a very good network where people can continuously come and get different kinds of entertainment every time. And yeah, if let's say my show is not to your liking, the vibe is not good, you always have now 4 other shows that you can go to, and soon to be even more. So you have
yeah.
a choice, and whatever your choice might be, the network will thrive from that, because you will be a viewer on the network, and we will be able to entertain our guests and our audience all the most.
Absolutely. I mean, officially, folks, the network is on 5 different channels. Okay, so you've got the network hosts, of course, Helzo on Mondays, Noise on Wednesdays, the 40K Empresses, the Gamer Empress on Thursdays, and Dash Attack on Fridays. Ideally, folks, we want to do a show a day. Don't want to do 2 shows on the same day because I'm going to end up killing someone. So ideally 7 shows, 7 days. Okay. It might be difficult to sustain, especially for my own mental health. But if I were a machine program that worshipped the machine god, to use a 40K reference, that would be
That's
the
great.
ideal. That would be the ideal framework. And I think that versatility and that uniqueness of each network show is an absolute godsend. Because I remember my mentor telling me that the biggest problem with creator communities and creator factions is that most of their shows are too similar, with the same people on the same shows on the same days, that there was too much similarity in each show, right? I'm not going to go into specifics because I don't want to demean talented creators in our space, but it's something that the audience eventually realizes after consistent viewing. This is going to be a monthly thing. For all we know, there could be another network show in a month or two's time, and there'll be another special guest for this monthly show, right? And even if we can't get guests for the network, I can tell you this right now. Monday's show will be different from Wednesday's show, which will be different from Thursday's show, which will be different from Friday's show, and so on and so forth. And it's that uniqueness and versatility that is absolutely vital in doing what we do. Now, I'd like to get Dash and Noise's perspectives first before we get the relative newcomers' perspective, because unlike the other three shows, Reigns and Rejects, folks, is the first brand new entity to be created within the network rather than a simple show transfer. So it's a little bit of a different set of circumstances. So, Dash, what do you make of the first 5 weeks you've been part of the network? As you give me a death stare for some reason.
Oh no, yeah, sorry. Yeah, no. Yeah, so I think Old White Road so far has been up to a great start. We kind of like, it did like get kind of like shaky with the what happened last month, which kind of dominated a lot of topics. I remember like I was in the chat when the news broke on one of the network shows was going on when Charlie Kirk's death was announced. And but yeah, like you've had some really great guests. That Mark, he was good. And
Yep.
I think the Mama Akko episode is, I think, so far the best viewed episode of Old White Road.
Oh yeah, just inject that diversity, folks. Even if you have to synthetically create it in from a cartoon character, because folks, breaking news, and Mama Rocco will tell you this: she's not really a black woman. Okay, she's a Gyru, whatever the Japs call that sort of person. I don't know off the top of my head. But I am of the view that Dash's show, Old White Road, is a great place to put all the cartoons, to put all the VTubers, to put all the colorful characters in who are larger than life or are a bit timid but are nice cartoon characters in the process. And it just goes to show the uniqueness that we strive for, where we can all succeed in our own unique way. And that is the greatest advantage, I think, in the network that we are building. And I'm sure in the months and years to come, we will expand, even if expansion means having Furious Dan as a network host and me getting an aneurysm when he's like, reach out to this person, Digny. This person has 500,000 subs, and I don't know who the hell it is. Reach out to this person, Digny. It's an OnlyFans content creator who doesn't do what the 40K Empress does. Okay?
Amazing. Mm-hmm.
Okay? I'm going to make this quite clear, Dan. Recommend people who can make it regularly. Okay? If you're watching or listening, do that. Just like Noise Pollution has done. He has recommended plenty of people onto his show who are consistent and dedicated in being on, whether they're creators just starting out or active viewers who want to become content creators and want, some training wheels to start things out. Because I think of all the network shows, System Crash is most like the name of its show, because how that show can operate is a goddamn miracle. Noise.
Well,
how have
you
the
do
last
kinda
5
run it,
weeks been
so-
for you?
Well, I turn the reins over to you to run the show 99% anyway. I think that it's going as expected, smooth enough. Although I believe the viewer's biggest takeaway is you have an intense hatred for Americans while at the same time having an intense infatuation with them.
Well, that's because there aren't enough Japanese people for me to condemn here. So there you go. In fact, folks, I'm probably the only pop culture content creator in this space who is anti-Japanese. Everyone loves the Japanese, not realizing just how dangerous they can be if they were fully free to practice what they preach. Okay? America keeps Japan on a leash for a reason, because the last time they were off a leash, a lot of people died. Let's move on from that dark line of thought and move on to the latest and most potentially greatest addition to the network, because her pilot episode of Reigns and Rejects did very well. And we appreciate the 40K Empress taking a monumental risk in joining the network, because this is not for the faint of heart. This is something that it's like ride. Is it ride or die, or is it ride and die? I don't remember which term. Basically, it's like Hotel California.
So you're telling us you're not black enough?
Wow. Damn, man. Damn, deep. Real deep. But Empress, why don't you tell me what you thought of your pilot episode, and we'll go from there.
Oh, well, I thought it was pretty good. It was pretty fun. I feel that I'm just born for this, so I'm just gonna keep on getting better and, more comfortable with all the dynamics in the panel, all of that. So I'm excited. I'm going to put my mind into it every Thursday, and I really want to make it as successful as humanly possible. The first episode almost has 300 views. So for first episode, that's not bad. Something that's unknown, but still with a lot of potential. So I'll make sure that people know that with my show, they're going to get, again, not only something different, but something that is a feeling they can only get with my show. So yeah, I'm going to just try to contribute as much as possible with what makes me special, and what will make my guest also special in that regard.
I'll tell you this, that's another great thing about the network that we're building, because we're not trying to condense everything onto one channel, okay? Because my mentor tried that before and it didn't work. So what we're doing is we're expanding to ensure that everyone can have a piece of the pie, for lack of a better term, all right? Everyone gets a show, right? When we first started this off, my mentor had 3 shows, and he decided to retire and give those 3 shows to 3 capable creators. He then designated me as his successor, and I helped Helzo and Dash and Noise start out the first 3 network shows. And, the 40K Empress was interested in being on Helzo's show because of their connection, and it went very well, and it ended up her having her own network show. And that's how things roll, folks. That's the snowball effect in real time. And what's my role in this network? Well, my role is keeping everyone from killing each other, because, folks, you interact with I know I say that in jest, but if you interact with a creator too often, you will end up hating them, right? It's a serious problem, one that I'm trying my best to solve. And teasing people is actually a great way of solving it. That's why I tease you, Dash, because I like you. I tease the people I like the most. You're like a guilty pleasure. But in all seriousness, folks, I will point out right here, right now, that my role is to keep everyone together and to provide a hub for network shows to become network videos, because our hosts unfortunately don't have the time to make videos from shows, because they have, work, social life. They have to attend groupie sessions, and they have to look after cats. And I'll let you guys decide which creators I was referring to. Oh, I dropped something. One moment. There we go. Okay. What else was I going to say? Oh, yes. And from that, we can prove to everyone that a video is not a show, that content creation is... What's that noise? What is that? Is it me? Oh, yeah, my signal's being gay. Yes. I'm using post office Wi-Fi, folks. Here's what I'll do. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna come back. Ooh.
And he is gone. Let's
Yeah,
break
the
out the
network
champagne
shows.
bottle.
Oh man.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
leave
that
it
was
up
a
to
good
Big Knee to
one.
make daily videos from it. If the rest of us did it as well, YouTube might have an issue with that, like content sharing across
Oh yeah,
channels.
reuse content. Reuse content.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Also,
yeah.
keep in mind that if you have a specific content doing these shows, talk shows, if they're not part of your specific content that you've built up, it might mess up your channel as well. That's why I used to try to stream, let's say, whenever I can, and now I stream only Saturday and Sunday because that's a little bit more specific, and I can actually keep that consistent. That's the
I know what
that's-
was I know what was wrong, guys. You know what was wrong? I had a second tab up and I wasn't using 5G. So there you go, folks. That's what the problem was. And
Well, Big Knee, you need to take some of all that tip money and get yourself a better rig.
no, I will never change. That's the best thing about me, is that I will help other people to improve, but I will stay the same, like a pipeline. That's the great thing I learned from my mentor. It's
What he's
the-
saying is he's cheap.
That too, but making it's very clear, folks, that we are all very different people. Okay, Noise can't even look at that. Okay, folks, we are that different of people. Okay, but we all want the same thing. We all want to make entertainment great again. And we all know the best way to do that is to highlight the problems, find the solutions, and be the change we want to see, support creativity, and build back better.
Well, when it comes to bare-chested cat men, I tend to look the other way.
I'll put on the tank top. It's fine. You can safe now, Noise. My brother in
That's
Christ.
all right. It's all right. Now we got to get you a hood attachment, and then we got to get you a face cover attachment with your hood, and then we've got Burka Dash.
Oh God! Now now I had a place to where to look, and now I don't really.
Oh,
So
see,
that's a bummer.
Empress likes it. Why
Yes, I
can't you,
like.
Noise?
Yeah, we could turn the network into a democracy, but as we all know, democracy has failed us. So we're not a democracy. We're a sort of coalition, in a sense.
Well, it's not just the cat ears and the bare chest, but that look on the face of an excited boy about to get laid for the first time.
Well, that's
Oh
just
my
me.
God! It's anime. I mean, it's supposed to be a lot of
Oh.
things at the same time. That's the appeal of it. It's just
Yeah.
anime.
Noise, you hit the nail far closer to the head than you realized when you made that statement. I will not
Which hit?
elaborate. I will not elaborate any further because I like Dash. But I will point out another great advantage of this network is that we are all completely different people who want the same thing. And that's what binds us together. We're not going to condense everyone into one show once a week to the point where we get sick of each other, want to kill each other, then destroy our coalition and then start our own coalitions. No, that's what everyone else does. Okay? Because I learned this from my mentor. You try to bottle up people who are too different, who want the same thing. Of course they're going to hate each other, go their separate ways and start their own things. We're doing it the exact opposite way by building this network, building our own coalitions, and standing together and hanging together once a month. Okay? That's the way to go. That's the way to be. And we're going to succeed. We might succeed so much that we might get a black host. That would be great. That'd be great.
Oh my
He's gonna
gosh!
be right down in the center of Voltron.
You know what's
on.
funny? I'm technically 2 times diversity because I'm a girl and I'm from another country. Yes.
Yes. You are female and a foreigner, which
Yes.
is actually the ideal type for most people watching this show. So, yeah.
We're
From
gonna
another
send you
country,
Empress,
we're
we're
all
gonna
from
send-
another country, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that is-
Empress, we're
that
gonna
is
send you to Turkey for 3 months on the
No.
day. So you get a good black tan. And
No.
you basically change your race, and then you're
No.
gonna come back. You be thrice the diversity.
No,
And
no, no.
another-
True.
Imagine
how many
SJWs,
diversity
color
points we're
tans
gonna
Don't
have.
do it. White
I mean,
skin
well,
we
is,
might
has to be
actually get
skin.
a offer from Kotaku.
Look, another great thing about this network we're building, guys, is that everyone who is a network host, and myself as one of the hosts and founders, we're from 3 continents, right? We got 2 Europeans, 2 Americans, and we've got someone based in the Middle East. Of course, we've got 2 Bulgarians, 2 Americans, and I'm in Israel. So you've got this very diverse, almost worldly perspective, which I think is absolutely vital in doing what we do. And do you know what we all have in common? We're all staying as far away from Africa as possible.
Well, yeah, I know. Of course, obviously, I'm an American, and to you non-Americans, I probably put off this incredible American vibe. But believe me knowing what being American is, I don't fit in well. The average American has a lot more in common with discuss things or 40K than me, probably.
How so?
Well, I'll tell you this. Noise represents America's past, and Dash Attack represents America's future.
Oh,
I mean,
damn.
I'm gonna say this as neutral as possible, Noise. You sound like exactly what we were shown in the 90s with every American movie after the Iron Curtain fell. You were basically every American trucker we saw in the 90s movies. Like there's one movie with Sylvester Stallone where he's a trucker, and everyone there had that accent. That's what we were shown when we were
Well,
kids.
Okay, for one, despite my accent, I'm actually in the deep South where everybody speaks with a hard redneck accent, and I don't. There's an age gap between me and a good many streamers and viewers, so I never really picked up on the anime thing. I haven't played all the games they've played. I have a 70s and 80s mentality where they have an early 2000s mentality, so there's just gaps
Yeah.
everywhere.
That's
Oh,
what
boys,
that's
there
what
are
I'm
some
saying.
really great
That's what I mean.
70s and 80s anime. Check out Space Adventure Cobra. It's really good. Lots of good anime tits.
I'll tell you this, folks, right? Noise forgot to mention this. Unlike most people in the South, he doesn't say things with a hard R at the end, okay? because he is very well cultured for an American. And that showcases to me, along with, the different geographical locations of network hosts, that we have a bright future. We have a wide perspective, and we are bringing people together. And if you're an up and coming content creator, or if you're a passionate viewer who wants to be a content creator, we're not gatekeeping this, folks. We're welcoming people with open arms. If you're brand new and green, we'll send you to Noise's show. If you're a cartoon or a furry or a bit of a degenerate, we'll send you to Dash's show. I actually found a creator in this space called the Femboy Fascist. Who do you think I'm going to recommend him, her, or it to? Dash.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about, by the way. I know exactly who you're talking about.
And knowing my luck, it'll probably be a middle-aged American man. And, the door is wide open. And that should be the future of content creation. A future where anyone can do what we do. That was the ultimate legacy of my predecessor and of my mentor, who honestly believed that anyone can do what we do, and we must give power to the people, because without the people, we content creators wouldn't be where we are today. And unfortunately, a lot of creators generally don't share that sentiment. Why don't they share that sentiment? Because they're stuck in this 20th century mindset of win or lose, kill or be killed. And that's not where the future is heading. Our future is one where you can, for better or for worse, do what the hell you want. And that's why Noise pollution can't look at Dash Attack, and that's why Dash Attack can look how he is. Okay.
I just want to add that truckers in the movies, that's one thing. Truckers in real life in America, whole different subject. They're quite different than what they are in the movies.
Look,
I would
truckers
imagine.
are-
I'm just telling. I was just referencing on what we were shown because up until the 90s, we were socialists, part of the Soviet Union stuff. The only thing that was given here was contraband, like several Beatles albums and stuff like that. After that happened, like since 1993, 4, 5, like we had a like imagine a absolute dump truck filling of VHS tapes of badly translated and badly voiced over movies where you have 15 characters, male and female, and they were all voiced in your translated language by one man. And he was the only one who was voicing it. And you see the
That's
Power Rangers,
hilarious.
the original Power Rangers, and you see the Pink Ranger, and she's like, Pink Power. And you're like,
It reminds me of the old Godzilla movies where the words would come out and their mouths keep moving.
Yep.
I'll
We
tell
had
you
that.
this.
We had the original. Like they were running them over and over. One of the first cinema movies, foreign cinema movies that was ever presented here. Do you know what it is? What was it? This chubby guy who was a comedian, Kung Fu Ninja, American Ninja. No, not American Ninja. It was a comedy about like this chubby guy who was adopted by Shaolin monks. Liu Kang from the original Mortal Kombat movies was there. I don't remember the name.
Was
That
it
was one of the
Kung
first
Kong
movies.
Fooey?
The Chris Farley
No, no.
movie,
Um,
fat
Yeah, I think-
comedic guy.
yeah. He died. He like
Yeah,
I
think that was his name, Chris Farley, unless I'm mistaken.
I think so. Yeah, but that was one of the first movies that was ever presented foreign, huge movie at this time. And like we were fed all the ideas of Americans in a lot of foreign countries through these movies. So yeah, it was kind of a difficult thing at a certain point to break. You know, that's what I'm selling. That's why I was telling these things.
Well,
Beverly
well,
Hills
speak-
Ninja. Yeah, yes.
Well,
yes,
media
yes.
is full of propaganda. The real America, you're gonna be surprised a million times over.
I was
Being a
surprised when
truck-
I started doing these streams by all the people that I've met, especially like people like Q Noise by Dashtag, Smash, Hypnotic, like all of the people foreigners. Like it was such an amazing, enlightening experience to meet such amazing people and to connect. Like it's amazing, and that's why I love the network so much as well.
Oh, and just to let people know, wearing glasses is not a requirement for joining the network. I just want to let everyone know. And it's not easy being a truck driver, okay? Change gear, murder a prostitute, change gear, murder, okay? It's a lot of hard work being a truck driver, okay? And we appreciate everyone who drives trucks, unless you're Indian. But in all seriousness, ladies and gentlemen, go and check out all the network shows, all the network hosts. Just type in their names and hopefully you can find them. In fact, they're linked in the description down below. But first, the links actually work. So we're going to keep this show to you, prima donna.
Oh boy.
But we're going to try and keep the show to about 2 hours because, our lady guest, or regular rather, has a social life and everyone else needs to sleep. So we got 2 topics. We were going to cover them on Monday, but I thought, let's fill out some time and get people's perspectives while we're here. Okay? Nothing wrong with that. We're going to first start off with a very interesting topic, which I'm just going to write down for an hour. 9 minutes. Quick. And 11 seconds. Haha, 9/11.
Oh
The
god.
first topic for today's show is Kang Ming Lee gets fired for condemning loons celebrating Charlie Kirk's murderous political assassination. Now, I've heard a lot about Kang Ming Lee in my little time as a content creator. He is a very passionate man. He's not based in Korea, folks. He's based in South Korea because there are two careers. One where you work yourself to death, and the other where you work yourself to death. There
Oh.
isn't really a choice. He's
What a
very
difference.
passionate. Well, there is a difference, but there are two careers, just to let everyone know. But he is a very passionate creator. He's a very dedicated creator. He's also a religious man, very principled in his Christian beliefs, which is quite interesting given he's Korean. And he got fired from his workplace because he dared to call out people in the company who were celebrating the murderous political assassination of Charlie Kirk. And now, thankfully, he's been hired by Benny Johnson, but we're going to talk about that tomorrow because we're squeezing out this topic to make 2 videos from. So we're going to ask Dash Attack because his character was inspired by the Orient. What does he make about the firing of Kang Min Lee?
Yeah, I follow Lee. You know, I've heard some things he says don't like agree on like everything, but like, you know, he is a Christian man, and so I do respect that. And yeah, he should not be fired for just being a decent person and calling out like these ghoulish like people celebrating the murder of someone who was just giving his opinion to some college kids. Like seriously, it's so backwards. Like, why fire him when you have people celebrating fucking death? It's disgusting.
Well, yeah, there's a very
Hello.
important reason. There's a very important reason why he was fired is because of this institutional rot that I've been talking about over the past 5 weeks, in that the opposition we are facing is institutional. It's absolutely everywhere. And the only way I see that we can deal with it is we need an entirely new era, folks. These companies, these franchises, they've been around too long. If they were people, they'd be in nursing homes waiting to die. If they were people, okay? They've had their time to shine. The sun is setting on them. It's time for new, fresh, vibrant stories, ideas, and franchises to take their place. And if it's not done peaceably, you get culture wars like the one we're currently experiencing. I mean, Noise, I dare say you're the most down-to-earth person here because you don't have an army of cats in your house. You don't dress as a cat boy, and your hair isn't something out of a sci-fi novel. So, what do you make of this topic?
Well, as Dash was saying, sure they shouldn't fire him for such reasons. Obviously, I mean, no one should be celebrating an assassination. Clearly, I mean, us sane people know this, but you know, coming down to technicalities, was he doing it on a company computer or on company time? Because really, there should be a barrier between your work life and your personal life. Sure, there's some exceptions when you're like celebrating a murder. I mean, yeah, there should be exceptions like that. But otherwise, just an opinion, there should be a hard wall between was it done on personal time on your personal computer or was it on work equipment on work time? So if that was the case, they could have grounds to fire him, possibly. Otherwise, he might have a good lawsuit on his hand and make a lot of money off of him.
Well, I'll tell you this, folks. A level playing field is very important. This clip is 7.5 minutes long, so we're just going to use the picture. And doesn't he look handsome, Dash?
I'm more into Asian
no.
women.
Well, most Asian men can easily turn into Asian women. But in all seriousness, folks, courtesy of Kang Min Lee, who is a fine creator, quote, I was just fired from my job again for my conservative beliefs. They tried to silence me, but I won't stay quiet. Here's why I'm speaking out and what comes next. Well, we know what comes next. You got hired by Benny Johnson as part of his multimedia interstellar empire to conquer the universe. And one thing I'll say about Mr. Kang or Min or Lee, because I don't know how Oriental names work, is he has one hell of a stylish setup which you don't really see, in front of the camera.
Oh yeah, he's
So
got soundboards.
That's
He's
what-
got
Yeah, that's what happens when you have a dedicated studio that's just your man cave studio, and you're keeping it that way.
yeah.
The
it's
only,
kind of
the only other Korean who has this is Kim Jong Un, because he's the only one north of the border who can afford it. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Dash.
Yeah, I have a bit of a setup where I have like a bunch of my consoles right next to my GeForce RTX PC. So like I've got like a bunch of different things in a similar setup, but his is a little bit cleaner and nicer.
Well, I tell you this, folks. I would have pretended to have impersonated Kang Ming Lee, but I did make a promise not to change my voice during this show, because the last time I did, it nearly blew up an aspiring project, and that's the last thing that we want to do. But shout out to Kang Ming Lee. We appreciate you. It's a damn shame that you got fired, but it's a great thing that he's now being hired by a stalwart within the American conservative movement. And by stalwart, I mean 1990s Bill Clinton Democrat, because that's how American conservatism works. What about you, Helzo? I know you're far away from the United States, and you're probably grateful for that. What do you make of this whole situation?
You're actually right. I had dreams of in the 90s and early 2000s when they were selling hard the American dream there. The only reason I would visit the US is to meet you guys. And I've said that before. I'll do a road trip from the south to Maine up until like the border of Canada, and I'll meet people there. But yeah, as for this topic, we've talked about this before on other shows. A cloned animal is the most dangerous. And after Charlie Kirk, after these degenerates, after these soulless, I cannot bring myself to call
inhuman.
to call these people human. No, I cannot. For me, if you celebrate the death of someone who just wanted to sit down and talk, no matter if you agreed with his opinion or not, he wanted to talk. He didn't want to hurt you. He didn't want to impose violence on you. He didn't want you jailed. He didn't want you killed. He didn't want you persecuted. He wanted to talk. He wanted to tell you his point of view. He was willing to listen to your point of view. If you celebrate the death of that one, and the death by assassination by one of your own degenerate people that actually had signed bullets and all the beautiful stuff like that that degenerates do when they're doing something like that. If you celebrate something like this, it means that you're showcasing all the degeneracy of your own side, the woke side. And the fact that those people who celebrated weren't condemned by the rest of them, because I stand by my opinion. There are sensible people within that culture as well. They're not that radical. You just don't hear about them because all you can see, all the loudest people are those crazy fuckers. And the whole thing is done. Like they're done. They're the after charge. They're done. They were going to be done very soon, anyways. But this just sped it up. And now firing. Sorry.
Kang Ming Lee. I know it's a foreign word, very difficult.
I forgot. My brain farted. But firing Kang Ming Lee for that thing, for just daring to say, okay, be a little bit more human, you degenerates. Stop celebrating the death of someone and being fired by management to that. Just showcases that they're enraged and they're trying to impose their views as much as possible as far as they can, because they know it's over. I think they know it's over. I think like some of the more sensible people know that what happened basically screwed them up, and now they're acting out of fear. That's going to continue to happen. They're going to try to cancel more and more people for more and more stuff. I read that they're going after Ben Johnson, Ben and Jerry, or what? Ben Johnson? Yes. Sorry, my brain is mush.
No, he's the right-wing version of Ben and Jerry's, because I'm sure Benny Johnson will one day make an ice cream called Benny Johnson's.
the fact is that they try to go after that for rehiring.
Yeah.
Kang Lee. Is that like, what the hell are you trying? Like, you're advocating for someone who tried to impose like sensibility of your degenerate people that you are celebrating, and you're actively against him being rehired. Why? Because he's religious?
Well, we
I
have to
mean-
consider though, Helzo, that cancel culture cannot work, because if it can work,
Yes.
if a group of people can isolate you from the social discourse, from society, then they can isolate you from reality and ultimately destroy you. I mean, look at this show. Look at the network as a concept that has been made into what it is today was as a result of a cancel culture campaign. And instead of 3 shows a week on one channel, there is 4 shows a week on 4 channels with a central hub making the videos that makes it 5 channels. Okay, folks, also known as Operation Hydra. And it just goes to show that the effort to create cancel culture hasn't worked. Yes, you got rid of the man who started it all out, right? Woohoo. Well done. You've just created 5 more like him, who's going to inspire 5 more factions just like him.
Also, you actually rather like you also made the neutrals go to that side, because there were a
Yeah.
lot of people who didn't want to deal with that. They were like, I don't care. And I'm actually in our country, I'm like that. I don't care about politics in our country. I don't generally care about politics. I care about people and what they say. I'm willing to agree with any sensible thing and anything that sounds logical, good, and humane. Doesn't matter where it comes from. But this, like people like me in America that were like neutral and they just didn't want to deal with that stuff. They didn't want to hear about that stuff. Well, guess what? Now they want to hear because they have seen what atrocities you motherfuckers do, and they're gonna go to the right. Now you have a lot of more hornets to deal with.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll tell you this, folks. Yes, this is quite the heavy topic, Empress. It's unfortunate because the network is a more topical framed show. Of course, for Dash's show, we focus on his favorite franchise, Digimon. For Noise's show,
just because they had a new game and Pokemon like sucks, and that's a big.
you
topic.
still haven't answered my question. How does a cat turn into a dog and then turn into a fridge with a minigun?
I just got into this franchise. I literally am still like learning it all out. I have like 6 other shows I have to watch. I still have to beat the game.
Damn, man.
Well, I
You
couldn't
should
help
ask
but
how a
notice,
hamster turns into an angel.
I couldn't help but notice Disgusting says that they have a lot of hornets to deal with, and Dash was like, yes. And then I imagine Dash backing his ass up against somebody going, bzz, bzz, bzz.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. This is the network you have joined, Empress, for better or for worse. I mean,
It's all good. It's all good.
I mean, from your perspective, what do you make of the fact that this prominent content creator, because Kangman Lee is a prominent content creator who is also employed, right? I know Helzo mentioned, working conditions, what the working conditions were like. Yeah. South Korean working conditions. It's really a toss-up between whether or not you want to work in North Korea or South Korea, because North Korea will break your body, South Korea will break your mind when it comes to the work schedule. But what do you make of the attempted cancellation, Empress, of Kangman Lee, from what you've heard so far?
Oh, well, what to tell you? I mean, recently I just stumbled upon the epiphany that actually and unfortunately, the intelligence all around has dropped down significantly, actually on both sides. I mean, the left obviously is degenerate, but there's some people from the right that also cannot think very clearly. By this point, I really noticed that, unfortunately for me. But anyway, the point is that on the left, people are batshit crazy. And what happened to him is ridiculous. It's kind of annoying that he already probably got this job, and then he found out that his employers are super left and radical and whatever. So it's a very unfortunate situation, and it should never happen. If he could, I think that he should totally sue them for that. This should be illegal to fire somebody for what they believe in when that does not affect the work or the workplace. And you should definitely have a lot of doubt and a lot of investigating to do if your employees believe that somebody should be shot and killed for their beliefs. So instead of going after those guys, those employees, they went after the normal person that was calling all of this out. So in a normal world, this would never happen. So this is just something that angers me a ton. I'm happy that he got justice at the end of the day, and from something bad came something good. That's a saying that we also have here in Bulgaria. But in general, I mean, lately, I'm just more concerned about the overall, abilities for us to think straight and be absolutely objective for what is actually happening, and not be crazy with the pitchforks going towards one side or the other. I just wish that everybody were a bit more
rational,
objective about everything. I don't know how to express this because it's multi-layered and it's very complicated.
Imagine not being distracted on Dash's show because he whips it all out, and then the other cartoon characters are too timid to
and
talk
slams it.
because he whips it all out. And I gotta be like, I gotta talk and talk and talk. I gotta take like what are they called? Stimulants. I gotta take stimulants so I can keep talking because everyone's scared because Dash whipped it out. But I do understand that mindset, Empress, because the discourse has degenerated everywhere, absolutely everywhere. Because in terms of the culture war, it's called a war for a reason, folks, and Charlie Kirk was a casualty of that war. And the reason why the discourse is breaking down is because this culture war is turning into a war of attrition, and not a physical one, but a mental and psychological one. And like all wars of attrition, they break you down slowly but surely. And you're seeing that, especially in the United States, because people are sick and tired of this constant conflict. They want simple, quick answers to difficult questions. And that's why you see drastic actions being taken, one of which included the murderous political assassination of Charlie Kirk, endorsed by millions of people within the United States, by the way.
You're breaking up a bit. The internet decided to bail.
No, it's my black microphone. It won't work properly.
You sound robotic.
That's because
But
I'm not.
the old tech
StreamYard.
robots, not the new tech.
I heard Digny all right, so it's probably just StreamYard. It tends to mess with
Yeah.
people like that.
Oh, no.
StreamYard has been busy today, by the way. There were issues earlier.
Oh, no.
Guys,
I mean,
guys,
I
stop
wasn't
protecting.
I
stop
wasn't listening
protecting
to him,
me.
but I heard him talking.
Empress has found out I'm not a human being. I am a sophisticated AI made by my mentor who actually programmed me. I'm not real. Dash isn't real. My mentor programmed him based on his furry fetish because he's a closeted homo. So he created Dash to, pursue his fantasies. Yep, you've rumbled me.
I'm
You've-
just gonna
you've
say that
rumbled us.
Freud would have a field day with that information.
Yes,
Okay,
you
I just
But
want to
in
add
the
something
meantime-
before I forget. Can I?
Sure,
Yeah,
sure,
go for it.
sure.
Go
Before
for
I
it.
forget. So this morning on my gaming stream, because I have a guest there that talks to me sometimes. I'm just gaming. I'm just playing this game Warhammer 40k Boltgun, which is very fun. But we got into super deep topics about the whole conditioning that was happening in America for the last maybe 10 or more years, and this is connected to the intelligence that I wanted to bring up by both sides. There's just this very annoying way that the whole society has been caressed, or I don't know how to say it, like groomed to think
Groomed,
towards.
yeah, groomed.
From- Yeah, groomed from both sides. And they can't even tell the difference sometimes between one thing or another, like for the vaccines, like the science that they were trying to push, that it's all science that the vaccine should work, where we know from common sense and we know from previous established science that it's not supposed to be okay and safe, and it was not. But now people forgot how to think. They forgot how to sift through the current propaganda that we were fed since the whole pandemic thing started, and the science that we did have as something that was established and default beforehand. Nobody thinks to look into another countries and how they make things work, what has been working for years, what has been not. Like, people just live in a bubble, and they are kept in this bubble as well. I mean, their mindset is conditioned this way, so they just think within that bubble, and they don't think to make their own research and to actually find that common sense again and what was real before we got hit with all of that crap. So I was just appealing basically to everybody to be their own person, to try to do their own research. And it is something else that, me and Helza come from Bulgaria, because a lot of us went through the communism, or the younger people like us, they didn't. Actually, our parents did, but that is also integrated into us as their children, and we know how that felt. So when we see that happening abroad, it's very stressful. We feel for the whole world. We fear that this is going to come here eventually as well, and we cannot have that crap again. So from my point of view, and probably from Helza's point of view, we see the world and America and what's happening there in the UK and whatever, like very concerned citizens of the world that see the conditioning that people have from both sides, see that they forgot to critically think about the most simpler things, that no longer believe in science because they cannot differentiate what was fed to us now as propaganda from the virus and all of that, and what was actually before. So basically, they just forgot to think about not only the stupid pandemic and what connects to that, but also general issues about a lot of other things that should be by default very well known from years ago. So that's very concerning. If we forget what we knew before as a default or as a definitive truth about certain things when it comes to science, like all the complicated topics about abortion and birth control, all of that is solved in Bulgaria for years, and nobody has issues. Whether or not women should vote, that's solved. There's no real sexism here. Everything's normal. Everybody are functioning. People just free. They're just free to do whatever they want. They can have a career. They can be mothers. They can have both. It's fine. No need to complicate anything. But in America, everything's like what we shall do with this, and this is very complicated, and this conditioning again is making you think so deep about topics that they're not that deep. They're simple, and they can be solved by science and by common sense and all of that. Just
you're not progressive. You're not progressive enough, right?
I just want to say one thing about in addition to Empress. We have the same like issues as everyone in the world. We're obsessed with having enough money to survive, to take care of ourselves, our family, our pets. Constantly stressed about work, food, groceries, like stuff like that. There's one in the whole of Eastern Europe, I think, but mainly in Bulgaria. We hate our government equally. Not just one party. We hate all of government because we have long ago been proven that all of our parties are just one big fucking club that after they have done themselves shouting in parliament, in the hallways, and being presented on TV how they're attacking each other, they go to one of their villas and they all drink comfortably, all of their parties, and they say to each other, yeah, we fooled the nation again today.
Yeah,
and we know that.
We had a fist fight in Parliament, and now we're having a whale of a time. Thank you to Roadkill for another nearly $10 donation, saying noise pollution is a GD bully. Now, I don't know what a GD bully is, but
God dang it.
good on you for being one, Noise. We appreciate you.
Yeah,
all.
Empress,
it
I just
produces
want to
results.
say, I want to say, the thing is, it's not that like in America we have these issues. It's just that like people are brainwashed to think that these issues are still relevant, that women like can't succeed. Like you have women CEOs in the United States, that gays are oppressed. Like you have gay people working in the White House. Like
It's
in this
an
current administration, like it's all lies. It's all
It's
lies
an-
meant to trick the weak.
It's an
Yeah, but that's not what I
institutional.
meant. I meant overall that people are thinking really hard on topics like abortion and other things where you're not supposed to do that. That is already solved for years back. You're not supposed to be having these discussions now. It's like a diversion from what you really have to think about, which are a lot more important topics. And yeah, of course, gays and black people, they have careers and everything for years. But the bad thing is that the left wants you to believe that they don't, and they're marginalized, and they're all kinds of things that are negative, which is not true. Of course, we know that. We are aware of that.
Look,
My point was
everything,
that reality
everything
should
left.
be simplified and back to being objective again. That's what I meant.
Oh yeah.
Look,
So if I can just give my
objective-
real quick take on it.
Sure.
Yep, go for it.
Okay, well, for one, there's a two-party system. They supposedly allow more parties, but they don't actually. They force it a two-party system, and they politically polarize the people into thinking their voice matters, like it's really going to change anything. They keep everybody warring at each other, looking for gotcha moments where Congress can run things through real quick. That is, some of the key binding areas that's causing this disarray in America.
Well, I'll tell you
Divide and
this.
conquer.
Right?
Divide and
tell you
conquer.
this
Keep
right-
fighting.
Well, I'll tell you this right here, right now, folks. When the Iron Curtain fell in the late 80s, everything left of social democracy should have been wiped off the face of the earth because nothing should fall that quickly. Okay? But it didn't. Because when you lose a game, what do? You change the rules. And that's exactly what the left did. It stopped being about class war, and then it became about race war, gender war, sex war, sexuality war. Let's destroy objectivity. Let's insinuate language. Let's expand freedom, fairness, and equality to the point where you can be whoever you want to be. Let's weaponize your life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness so that you can have the liberty to take the life of a thing you created. In fact, let's go one step further. Let's use liberty to deprive the next generation of creating life, which is what transgenderism is. So what we're seeing today, folks, is basically a modern Cold War in which the opposition have infested the institutions and have twisted the values of the Western world against itself. Because fundamentally, we are dealing with an entity that just won't die. And that's why they've infested institutions, they've infested companies, they've infested government agencies in some cases. And that's why in the United States specifically, where there's the most resistance to this rot, you are seeing higher levels of violence. Because we are dealing with people who operate on a simple premise. Do exactly as they say, and nothing bad will happen to you. Resist us, and we will stir shit up and kill people. It's as simple as that. And if you do that in response, you're evil and you should be wiped out. That is why, if we had a level playing field, the opposition would crumble into dust, just like the Soviet Union and the Iron Curtain. Because there was a level playing field between the US and the USSR, and after a struggle of nearly 50 years, who won? Simple. And speaking of simple, ladies and gentlemen, one more thing, Noise, and then we'll move on to the second point. We'll try and jam it in. Jam it in? Go on. Go on. You were going to say something. Go on. Say it.
Okay. I was just going, are you jamming something in? What's going on?
I've been around Dash for too long.
Yeah, it's that repressed
from the-
homosexuality he was talking about, or at least with
The
his
woke
mentor.
side, the woke side taking this attitude is quite foolish, because when the other side, and I don't like to make, this side, that side, but it kind of is that way. When the right side has had enough, they will push back, and they're the ones who are veterans. They are the ones who are gun owners. They are the ones used to doing a hard day's work. How do you think that's going to play out?
Yeah, and we saw a little bit of that with the temporary cancellation of Jimmy Kimmel before Disney cucked.
And we have to make it clear, folks, historically speaking, just to wrap up this topic in a nice little bow, that from a European perspective, the right dealt with its radicals at the cost of tens of millions of lives in the Second World War. The left has not dealt with its radicals, because usually the best way to deal with radicals is through a war. And we can't do that because nuclear weapons exist. And the left, folks, if they had nukes, they'd press them, especially if they were losing. But speaking of tyranny, folks, because this topic is also a meaty one, we might have to talk about it tomorrow. 1 hour, 40 minutes, damn, that was a long topic, and 30 seconds is digital ID madness gets exposed as Brits and Russians enter a point of no return. It doesn't matter where you're based, folks. It doesn't matter where you're based. Digital ID is coming for you. Do you know how we solve it? We solve it by banning every phone made after 2007, because that's when smartphones became a thing. I say this because I have stocks in Nokia, and before the smartphone, Nokia controlled 80% of the phone market. So, unlike most people who propose things, I will tell you that I have a vested interest. Dash, digital ID. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm not a fan. It goes against everything I believe as an American, and it will you don't even have to think hard about how that's going to erode freedom, how that's going to be weaponized by governments to control speech. It's frankly, it'll be used to punish people for political thought. It's and that's exactly why they're pushing it. And it's horrifying, seeing the UK and even certain people in the United States push for this, when it's going to take all the freedoms we take for granted away.
Oh yeah. You know what would be worse than digital ID, Dash? Stamping what are those things? A barcode on your forehead. You can't put it on your hand or your arm because you'll cut it off and replace it with a cyborg one, like out of Cyberpunk 2077 or some stuff like that. But what we are seeing, folks, is a coordinated attempt to reawaken that old Soviet system of command and control, which fundamentally doesn't work, because the larger the country, the larger the population, the more difficult it is to command and control. It's a lot easier running a totalitarian socialist dictatorship when your population is the size of Iceland, 300,000 people, than it is a population of, 1.3 billion people, which is, China, Red China. So for me, digital ID is not a good idea. It's a fundamentally flawed idea, because any policy that can be defeated by a power cut is a very bad idea, and people just don't want it, especially freedom-loving people. And I think the most freedom-loving person here is Noise. So what do you make of this from a panelist who loses power when he gets bad weather? Do you think digital ID is actually going to work, especially in rural parts of the United States that don't have power?
Well, if you're in a small country town, most things don't work half the time. But yeah, I mean, clearly it's all the invasion of privacy. They can abuse that so many ways. It's ridiculous. Plus, there's the Christian point of view, is like the mark of the beast. I can imagine, I can see them trying to implement this and failing for various reasons. But if they figure out how to put a genetic marker in you that works as a digital ID only through genetics. I can imagine they do that. Okay, look at what Bill Gates said about mosquitoes. You know, they're natural vaccinators. He'll just, you know, inject them and let them go. Now imagine if they did that to the GMO foods, the mosquitoes. We get the digital ID whether we want it or not. I could see this as an actual possibility, or at least something they attempt.
It's a very insidious way of doing it. I think a much more simpler way to buy popular support is to make it, you know, fun and trendy and, you know, get on this thing and you're cool. So everyone gets a smartphone for free. You know, all these young kids who can't get off their iPads, guys. I got a neighbor who has a kid who literally, without technology, just goes, it's fucking annoying.
It reminds me, at one point a few years back, it was leaked what the FBI deems a potential threat, a possible terrorist. And one thing it included, and this was a few years back, is if a person did not have a Facebook account.
Oh, there was a parody clip on that, by the way.
Yeah. It's just crazy that what was considered insane, what was considered something worth fighting against a generation ago, is now being considered and enacted as policy. Because let's not forget, folks, although it was not in a digital format, in the Iron Curtain and in the Soviet Union, and dare I say, throughout the communist world, especially at its height in the 1970s, there was a system in place, especially in the old Soviet Union, where if you did not have your documentation, you're off to the gulag, you're off to the political prison camp, and you ain't ever getting out of there, okay? To the point where you could only go to certain places, certain areas, and you had to have your physical identification documentation, okay? That went from going, we must oppose this at all cost and feed trillions of US dollars into the military-industrial complex to stop, to being actively proposed policy in what, 35 years? It's insane. We got two Bulgarians on the panel, right? Right? A son and a daughter of a generation who lived behind the Iron Curtain. 1984 made into reality, right? They can tell you better than we can in, say, the Western world or in Israel, what that sort of system is like. And all we're getting now is a digital variation of it, right? Could you imagine, guys? And this is actually being proposed through 15-minute cities. Dash, you can't leave your city, okay? You can't leave it, right? You drive out of your city, you will be arrested, charged, convicted, and sent to a political prisoner camp for about 15 years. Is that the future you want to live in?
I would like to leave town whenever I can. So
That's what
no.
digital ID will mean. If you don't have your phone on you, you're getting a few nights in the slammer until we find out who you are, you dangerous terrorist. I'm picking on Dash specifically because Noise would be like, because he's that kind of American. But look, Helzo can tell you this. What do you make of the idea of a digital ID system?
Before I answer, I just want to share something.
Oh.
And Iris Rhoda actually said it in chat. This is live, by the way. I want you, if you haven't seen it for some reason, I'll just point you out. 2,813,976 and going up every several seconds.
That is just to give
The bar-
context.
The bar
give
is
Well, just to give
This is
context,
for-
also, all of those are British-based signatures because
exactly.
of the vetting
I cannot
process.
sign. I cannot sign this
Yep.
because I'm not British.
That is the size of a mid-level third party in
This
the
is the
United
size of
Kingdom.
our capital city and more. This is like 1/3 of our current population in Bulgaria, just to say. Parliament will consider this for a debate
Mhm.
once that get more than 100,000 signatures. All right. So
Oh,
what does that mean? What would that mean in a democratic, in an open discussion, in a place where you casting your vote with your ID, by the way, with
Yep.
your ID, would mean that Parliament will get this into a voting, and there will be a discussion. There will be representatives for that movement to get their case and to be a public vote that will probably be presented live so that you see what the government decides and how they listen to their people. That's what should happen. All right, that's what you would expect to happen when you're casting votes, when you're voting, when you're expressing your freedom and your voice to the government that you supposedly elected by casting your voice. And now we have government responded. This is the official response from the UK government given on October 2nd, 2025, after was already well beyond 2 million. Quote, we will introduce a digital ID within this parliament to help tackle illegal immigration, make accessing government services easier, and enable wider efficiencies. We will consult on details soon. There's a full
Oh
response,
yeah,
but this
so
is
they
basically
say fuck off everyone. Like, we're doing it anyway.
exactly. So
Exactly.
you can cast your petty votes, you can sign your petty petitions. We'll do whatever the fuck we want because we're the fucking government. You're nothing but peons. You're nothing but workers that pay their taxes and put money in our bags, and we will do
I'll-
with you as whatever we the fuck want.
And these
this
are
is
people crying about fascism.
Well,
This
I
is
need people,
Bulgaria
I need
before
people-
1990, with the sole difference that we didn't even get to vote.
Oh, of course not. Of course not. And
At
what
least
people-
the government was honest enough to not get you to have these petitions. And if you do, you were going to the slammer and probably get your head shaven if you had a slightly longer hair than allowed.
Well, I'll just let people be aware because the British, of all the people who hide the devil in the detail, it's the British who are on top of the list. But before I go into too much detail, thank you, Roadkill, again for another nearly $5 donation, in which you say the following quote: "The 40K Empress said my push-up form was trash, then demanded I donate. I over it, Empress." Well, you should go
Thank
and
you,
check
Empress.
out her health and fitness based content, Roadkill, and you'll be able to get fit. There we go.
Where I'm not gonna criticize your form, but okay. you come up with the greatest stories ever. Yeah, very interesting stuff. But now I want to see your form. So okay, I promise
I
not
will
to
point out-
You
not to say anything.
I will point out that the devil is in the detail, that the authorities in the UK made it clear by the end of the Parliament, which is by 2029. Right? And consider this. Consider the Online Safety Act in the UK. It took 5 years to go from proposed to enacted to actually enforced. And it was met with a heck of a lot less resistance than this digital ID is facing, right? This happened 20 years ago when they wanted to have mandatory ID in the UK with another Labour government that also had a massive majority, and it failed. History is repeating itself, folks. Even if this gets through Parliament, even if it gets through both houses, this is going to take years to fully implement. And by the time it's fully implemented, there'll be a general election in which the most unpopular government in British history gets wiped out. And then the new force that comes along, in order to stay in power for a generation, it'll be that easy. Get rid of this, win the next election. Literally, we can raise your taxes, 90% income tax rate, but we're getting rid of digital ID. They'll still win the damn election. I'm telling you, because it's that hated. Because people...
They'll just
do not
implement it
want-
little by little without announcing it until it's fully implemented and everybody had, had slowly gotten used to it.
But that's the thing people need to understand about the UK, because the Online Safety Act didn't get a lot of resistance, but it still took them 5 years to go from proposing it to making it law, which which took about 3 years, and then enacting it, which took another 2 years, which means people were breaking the law for 2 years and getting away with it because law is only as strong as its enforcement, folks. Let's not forget that either. So by the time digital ID is a thing, and a mandatory thing in the UK, there'll be a general election, the governing party will be wiped out, and digital ID will be wiped out. Simple as that. So that's why we should highlight the problem with this and continue the resistance to this, folks. Across the board, mind you. What people need to understand is all governments are as stupid as they are malicious, and that's why they never prevail. Now, I know we're pressed for time. The 40K Empress needs to sleep, and we need to get to our future plans. So sorry to cut this one short. I do apologize, but that's...
Oh, I do have to say something about this topic, though, because I'm the only one that haven't said anything.
Go on, then.
Okay, so basically they're doing this so they can control immigration. That is the excuse that I saw, or something like that. But they're creating the problem themselves. So they're letting illegal criminals in their country to wreak havoc on the streets and upon the normal British people. And then they try to solve it by creating a lot more of a problem and enforcing a common something that a communism would do. Like, what? I mean, this is ridiculous. I hope that the British people will never sit for this. I hope that they rise up and do whatever they need to do to take this down before it happens. Thankfully, as you mentioned, it takes a ton of time to actually enforce such a thing. Thank God for that. But the point is, how is this even possible? And how can you destroy your country with all those illegal people that are criminals for the most part? How many children and women have to suffer for them to do anything? I mean, they obviously don't care, but I mean, why is that? Why is all of a sudden this the normal thing to do? What do they want to gain? Maybe exactly the control of the people eventually. Maybe it's all about a plan, like let illegal immigrants in, and then we're gonna fix it by controlling everybody, and this is going to be the final seal or the final nail on the coffin for all the nation. That's how it seems like to me. It's actually pretty obvious.
It's exactly that.
Britain is ruled by a soulless bureaucrat, a soulless legal bureaucrat who stabbed his political allies in the back to become leader of the party he leads and ultimately become prime minister with a massive majority with the lowest popular vote in living memory. So he's acting like he has a supermajority despite the fact that not many people actually support him. And he is of the view of, I can do what I want because I control Parliament, and if I can control Parliament, I can do whatever the hell I like until the next election. So this guy, this Sir, why the fuck is a noble leading the Labour Party? Why is a noble leading a left-wing party? Because a Sir is a knight of the realm, a noble. That in itself is a contradiction. But the point is, folks, you've got a soulless legal bureaucrat leading the United Kingdom, and he thinks he's untouchable. That's why he's proposing this. That's why he'll try to get it through Parliament. I think he will. But enforcing this will take years, because it took 5 years for the Online Safety Act to be fully enforced. From the start of it, got barely any opposition. This is getting massive opposition from almost everyone, regardless of political affiliation, which is insane considering British politics. So it's going to take way longer, and by the time it's made into law, next election, new party in, they'll get rid of it, they'll win the next election, even if they crash the bloody economy, even if there are bread lines on the street, even if there are 2-day weeks because there are power cuts, they'll still win the next election. Because people in the UK fundamentally don't want to live in a police state, okay? They don't, and they never will. Tried it before in 2005, you failed. Tried in 2025, you failed. Try it in 2045 for all I fucking care. You will fail. Fundamental.
Just so you know, you're saying 5 years, so by 2030, right?
Yes. Well, the next
Yes.
election has to be by 2029. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
because there was news, local news, that our parliament is starting negotiations for digital ID to be implemented by 2030 as well. So this is once again a very, appears to be a very coordinated effort by a lot of countries.
Oh, yeah,
Time
the
to
next 5
protest.
years. Well, the next 5 years, folks, are make or break. So stand firm. Just keep things as they are, right? Cut your dick off if you want, but this is the line we're drawing. Okay? This far and no further. Because if you get any further, I will blow up the world. But on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we don't really have enough time for future plans, so we're just going to be like, thank you all very much for watching the debut episode of the Network Assembles. For now, for this episode, it was hosted on Helzo's show. We might host it next month on Helzo's show, or maybe we'll pass it around. Maybe it'll be hosted by someone else. I don't know. But I'm very grateful we all had the time to gather together to have a good talk. Thank you, everyone, for watching if you were live. Thank you to everyone watching on the replay. If you haven't already, like the stream, share the stream, follow everyone here on YouTube. And also thank you to all the fine folks and fellow creators for their donations. We're wrapping this up very quickly because we've passed 2 hours and we all need to get our beauty sleep. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, and no other degenerate groups, bye for now, folks.
See ya.